selectmen are present. First on the agenda is Chief Graham Pellerin of the Fire Department.
Good evening. So as you know, we had 2 openings with the Kingston Fire Department in the full-time positions. I would like to introduce to the board and have them sworn in this evening. One being Patrick Casey and the other being Stephen Turner. So we're just waiting for Tammy to come upstairs.
Okay, she's got the appointment?
Yep.
Sheets?
Yes. It's
What's that?
unofficially appointed.
Unofficially appointed. Okay.
Well, first, I know we signed up with Steve. Did that last week or the week before?
Yeah, Patrick's paperwork came across.
Yeah, I think we signed that. I think it's in there.
I didn't do appointment forms because they're hires, not.
Yeah. But they work under the chief, I guess.
Well, we typically have a form that we sign off on with a.
Appointments, yeah.
It's a ceremony.
Correct.
What's the second name?
Stephen Turner.
With a V.
Does Tammy know you're waiting for her?
Yes.
She says she'd be right up?
She did.
Have them come in and tell us about themselves.
Yeah, there you go.
Steve is a paramedic. He served the town for a long time.
Couple times, right?
I'm not good into that.
Yes, Steve comes from Northampton Fire, and Patrick comes from self-motivated academy classes. He's a firefighter 2 EMT basic.
Where's he from?
He's from Northampton as well.
Both from Northampton.
So if you guys want to come up, I'll wait for Tammy and
They say 3rd time's a charm.
Tammy will be right up.
I thought those were supposed to be gold.
I'm the only one.
You're only keeping the overhead down. There you go.
Well, while they're waiting, I'd like to tell you how well per diem is working. They roll those rigs out of the door in 2 or 3 minutes, and or less, not seen very quickly. So I can tell you that the public is very happy that they're getting very fast service.
Mrs. Bakey, could you come up and swear these gentlemen in as our newest firefighter, EMT paramedic?
I can testify, as Chief Briggs did, that they are rolling out of the station within seconds, based on something that I had this week.
Well, there was a call in the middle of Seabrookville the other day, and they were out in 20 seconds. So fast. So fast, what?
They responded quick.
Next on the agenda, Paul Butler.
I don't know. Come up here, Paul. Sit up here, we can hear you better.
I have one of these for each of you guys.
I think we're very good.
Okay, I wasn't sure if they're gonna do so.
Yeah, we'll take a moment.
Okay.
Killed the tree already.
And some.
So I'm here to discuss a proposal for an after-school program at the rec center aimed towards Sanborn 7th and 8th graders for the most part. There might be some kids that are a little bit older than that to do that. So to begin that process, I met with the director of Austin 17 House and the director of Camp Lincoln to try to get their help and expertise in part of this and kind of join in with me. And met with very good results. They've been very helpful. And we've outlined a plan here. I don't know if you want me to go through the whole thing or you want to read that on your own, but the basic idea is that kids would come after school on a bus. I tried to set this up a few years ago and it really wasn't any problem making a bus stop. So I assume that's not going to be a problem again. Right there at the rec center, they would come and have like a snack, kind of hang out, then there'd be a half hour or so of homework time, and I wouldn't make them do homework, but I would encourage them to do homework, and they'd be quietly doing something if they're not going to do their homework, but we could supply some help with that if they wanted it. Hoping to have access to their grades so we could help them understand what they need to work on. And then the rest of the time would be, as you can see, there's lots of different people none of these are completely confirmed, but just a lot of different things that we could try to do with them for the remaining time. So Camp Lincoln has offered to, with their bus, transport them over to Camp Lincoln and do some kind of activity there, depending on the weather and depending on the kids and what they want, which I was pretty excited about. Austin 17 House has offered for us to go up there. They have a fabulous
That's up on
facility
125.
there. Yeah, it's amazing. Have you guys been up
In
there?
Brentwood, the big, really big,
Yeah.
large building.
Yeah, it used to be a school.
Across from Bessie's.
Well, a school and a church, and they've done it amazing. They have this big gym. They have all these rooms of all these different activities: photography, arts and crafts. They have bees that they're making. Bees are making honey, and it's just an amazing program. So having access to that would be phenomenal, and that's something that we could do. So we're looking at other like the Lions Club potentially for some fundraising. And maybe hoping the fire department would help us again with first aid and CPR for the staff. Examples of people to come in, like Conquer Self-Defense, maybe doing something, stepping out, dance, maybe go to the movies. You can see the list there of different things to do. I have an outline on page 2 of what I was just talking about from for the course of the day, what the structure would be like. Medical issues, I assume we can use, I'm hoping we can use the information that is provided to the school nurses, so we could just get that information with parents' permission, so we'll know if somebody has asthma or allergies or whatever issues they might have, so we can be aware of that.
I doubt they can release that.
Well, with the parent, I mean, I guess I should say, the same information that they give to the school, they can give to us with their permission, right? No, you're right, you couldn't just do that. We can, the camp doc that I used to register the summer program, we could use that. We've already paid enough, so that would actually be free to do that. And that's a great way to have all the stuff in one place, so we'd have information there. Staff, I would be the director, and wouldn't necessarily be there every day, but in the beginning I would be there every day. Have community members come in, maybe local businesses, fire safety activities, things like that. Pairing with the high school to have them come and have kids maybe from the Key Club or from different organizations come and help the kids with different activities, fulfilling their service commitments that they have with some of those things. We talked a lot about the price, and not sure this is perfect, but what we went off of was what Memorial charges, because they have kids up through, well, they'll now have kids up through 6th grade. And that's the price that they were using, and I thought, I was hoping to make it lower in some ways, but I
This is
also,
the school you're talking
yes,
about?
I'm sorry, the YMCA program that's at Memorial, the
Okay.
YMCA runs, this is what they charge. So I'd like to charge that at the beginning and possibly bring that down if we get more kids, because I don't think we're gonna need that, that much to do that. But we kind of wanted to say, you know, this is a well-staffed program. It would be me with, you know, I've got 36 years experience with kids, special ed kids and other kids. I have 3 paras that are interested in working, 3 paras that work in the middle school. So, you know, it's going to be a quality program. It's not going to just be hanging around and you know, playing on their phones. It's going to be, you know, a structured activities and working on helping them. I think the target kids are those kids that aren't always involved in things. They're not, maybe not a sports guy, maybe they're not doing the drama, maybe they're not doing the clubs, and they're just going home and sitting there and doing nothing. So the idea is to get them doing something with their peers, with us, whatever. So I went through the expenses there of how much it was for counselors. I figure I need 2 counselors and me, just in case, in case if somebody is sick, you really can't be there by yourself. So I wanted to have 3 people there. Field trips costs, I'm not sure what that's gonna be. If we just go to Camp Lincoln, that would be free. Field trips will vary on what we do. We need to get food and drinks and supplies and things like that. I haven't priced that out, but obviously that will depend on how many kids come. And how many we
So
have
is your plan for this to be self-funding?
Yes.
Okay. Is it, and it's run from when to when? The
Um,
whole school year?
Full school year.
So you'd be open in a year, well, almost year round then, right?
Yeah.
Basically,
Pretty
because
much,
you're doing
yeah.
the summer program, and then
Yeah.
there's a lag.
Yep.
Maybe a month before the end of
Week.
summer in the school, it's
A
only a week.
Yeah.
And so you'd be
Right.
running that facility year round.
And my plan would be to train somebody to take my position. I'd like to get this started and make sure it's going in the right direction. It's not my dream to do that 5 days a week for the next 10 years or something, but I think there's people I could train. I already have 1 person in mind. I think that would be very good. To get it going, I would be there every day and make sure things are going well, see what type of student we have. In the summertime, we have a huge range of kids. Probably 95% of them are fine and they behave themselves, but 5% can be challenging. A few kids here and there can be really challenging, so make sure we have the right training if we need to do more training, or the right supports and things like that. So, and then there's kind of a to-do list that's more for us, I guess, but going through and getting all this information and supplies and things like that. We would offer, and I guess haven't looked into this yet, but this hashtag RUN, I guess, is a way for people to go in there and they determine, if I understand this right, they determine whether kids, parents or families need financial aid. So we wouldn't have to be going through that ourselves, but if somebody needed help, hopefully make enough money that they could pay less. I think they should probably pay something, but maybe they can't afford to pay the whole amount. Or maybe we get a business to sponsor them or something like that. We're gonna have to see how that goes. But like I said, Camp Lincoln and Austin 17 House have been really helpful. They're gonna put out a flyer at the end of June to advertise this, so that the people that are aging out of the memorial program that the Y does would have information about that. I could obviously advertise it through all my contacts from the summer camp. So I've talked to a lot of people about it. People seem to feel and I agree that there's a need for this group. They're not driving cars yet. They're not, they're sort of able to be home by themselves, but I don't think parents are thrilled with them being home by themselves. And even if they are, I think, like I said, we'd like to have them do something besides go home and play Minecraft for 5 hours or whatever. So, yes.
Does the Bakey School still offer that?
Yes.
Camp Lincoln offer the after-school program there?
Right. This wouldn't be competing with them at all. I'm not looking to take any kids from their program. So they I guess they'll now do to up through grade 3, and at Bakey, and then at Memorial, the Y would do 4 to 6. So I'm not looking to take kids.
Are they only do it up to grade 3 over there?
What with the new realignment?
Okay, that's the way it's gonna fall, okay, I got you.
I assume, I don't know that for a fact, but I assume that's what they're gonna
And
do.
you don't have an issue with, I mean, it's a pretty big age range, 5 to
Right.
14.
That's what camp is. I mean, what you have, and actually, you know what, that shouldn't even say 5, that should be more, well, I'm sorry, that's the summer camp. That's just, that's not necessarily, our group is, the target group is 7th grade and up.
7th grade and up?
Yeah,
Middle and high school, right?
right, that's what middle school will be next year. Because 6th grade will be a
Okay,
Memorial.
so it's not 5 to 14.
That's the summer camp. It's just
Okay.
talking about the summer camp. Kind of an introduction of what we do for those that don't know.
All right.
So yeah, no, the target, I'm not looking to take people away from the Y program, or compete with them. I don't think that's the right thing to do. And I think we want to have, to your point, I think we want to have kids of similar age
Yeah, no, I
range.
got you, an opportunity for that.
So when we, yeah,
So when you look, I'm missing on your income and expenses, you got, if they only go 2 days, I assume you charge them $22 a day, that would be $44 a week. So where's the 178 a week come? What,
2
3 days
days.
a week at $19 a day? Wouldn't that be $57?
that could be, yeah, I could have that wrong, yeah, 5 days, 15.
44, 6.
Yeah, no, you're right.
57.
Yep.
X number of students to get
I think I might have been, maybe I was mixing that up with the number of students. No, you're right. So 2 days, 44 a week,
Yeah,
yeah.
those numbers are off.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think like you said, I think I was thinking
5 to 10 students.
more kids or maybe monthly,
So
yeah.
a break-even point theoretically, you would have to have at least 5 kids.
More than that.
Yeah, more than that, I think.
If it's $75 a week.
Right.
Per student, you'd have to have.
Oh, you're right, yeah, you're
15.
right, there's 205 is like,
Yeah.
yes,
Yep.
I was confused the weekly with the daily, yeah.
I can see this program have a waiting list.
I think, yeah, and you know, if it doesn't, you know, if we don't have enough kids, it would be hard. And I imagine at the beginning, we may not come out even, but as we go along, I think we'll break even and even, maybe be in the red a little bit, so.
So do you have a max number of kids you're looking at, 3 people there?
I think 15 to 20 is probably good, depending on who they are and what, you know. I mean, the camp can hold more than that. We comfortably have 60 kids there, but that's with 11 staff. So maintaining that ratio and getting that attention, I think 15 to 20.
Do you think that facility is okay for the winter months? You know, there is some heating in there, but I didn't know how much insulation there was. I mean, if
Yeah, it
it's
seems to be.
cold
I
in
mean,
there, is it gonna be?
We've turned the heat on for like an Easter party or something like that. It seems like it warms up pretty well. Yeah.
I'm just concerned if it's 10 degrees out one day.
Right.
Is that gonna be able to warm up in there?
That's a good question. I mean, I could check with Rich. I haven't.
Rich, do you have any concerns?
Oh, he's still there. Okay.
No, we don't shut the water off on my way, it just falls in there. Rain on water, that's the only difference. Obviously, we need to plow the driveways and the driveway, what we do now, but I don't know, they're like totally, 9 months out of April.
I think probably it'd be worth having a backup building though, if there's just a brutal cold day, that being a metal building with a concrete floor, maybe too much. And then, I know there was an issue with the late pickup fee.
Right. Right.
Probably want to institute that policy, and then the behavioral policy that you made from the camp.
Yeah, that would be the
modify
same.
that and just apply it to this
Yep.
after-school program.
That would be. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
And the only other thing I had was, is this for Kingston only, or is this across the district, or?
I mean, I was thinking Kingston and Newton and perhaps Fremont, since they're together. They're going to be together. I guess yeah, I guess they won't be together until 9th grade, really, still with the realignment, but they're going to be together. So, I mean, I don't know about busing. That would be a whole different busing thing. So.
I guess.
But
We
Kingston.
do have different rates for Kingston residents and non-residents, so maybe, do we want to have a different fee schedule for that, or is it just the same across the board? And I guess it's up to you to.
Yeah, I haven't really thought about that, but that's, yeah. I mean, I think it should be Kingston and Newton, certainly. But I hadn't thought about a non-resident rate and a resident rate. but we could look into that.
So in your budget, you don't have any funding in there to support this, do you?
Right now, no. So we'd be looking perhaps for some money from, Lindsay, the director of Austin 17 House, thought maybe the Kingston Lions Club might be able to help, and I thought I know grants probably wouldn't come in soon enough, but maybe looking for people to donate to get it started, to get us some money just to get it started, but.
Anybody else got any questions, concerns? So it's basically 3 hours a day?
Yeah.
Nothing on weekends? Right?
No. I have to have some time off.
I got a weekend job.
I think it's definitely a good idea. It looks like it should be able to self-fund itself.
I think so,
When you
yeah.
started off, I can envision, you have a kitchen over there, maybe even for snack, if you're making grilled cheese or whatever, you actually utilize the kitchen's there.
Right. Yeah, the kitchen's not working at the moment, right? Okay. You mean that refrigerator that's broken, that one? Really, it's working? Okay. All right, great.
No, this is a good thorough analysis, Paul, just a couple things to tie up with what looks like a great program. Thanks for putting the effort in.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Do we want a motion to go forward with it, or you wanna, hammer it out and come back with it finalized, or?
I'd like to have, what my goal today would be to have the blessing to say, keep going with this. I'm gonna set up another meeting with Austin 17 House and Camp Lincoln.
When were you hoping to kick it off?
September 1st, first day of school. Yeah. Because my experience would be that if there's gonna be some people that are gonna need to have it every day. I mean, some kids might just come twice. I'm picturing, we also did a survey, and about, you only get 40 responses before you have to start paying $25 a month on SurveyMonkey, which I didn't know. But about half were interested. Half said yes, half said possibly. There was more kids than I thought that were like one day a week or 2 days a week. I was expecting more 5 days a week, because they got to have something. If you're looking for somebody to watch your kid, you need it 5 days a week, I would assume. But maybe they're a little older and they're okay with them staying home. But we didn't have as much detail to it as we do now. So I can send out more information. I can talk it up with activities that we have or over the summer and things like that. So.
But I mean, the plan is to have it self-funded, right?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
You maybe want to look at doing like a pre-registration where it holds their spot, and you can get some locked-in people.
Right.
That would give you an idea of what maybe you're working with.
Yeah, and I'm thinking maybe starting in June, as they're finishing up the year, they start thinking about next year. So, and that's why the flyer would go out to the memorial program for the kids that are aging out of that, and then I could do it to all the summer kids I have. So.
Your surveying, was it mainly the participants in the summer program?
One of the survey questions was, have they participated in something in the rec, and it said yes. It didn't differentiate.
Okay, so it wasn't that you polled the people that attended the summer program?
No, it was a survey monkey on Facebook, and we emailed it, and but we kind of stopped when we realized that I didn't realize you had to pay a lot of money to do that, so it wasn't worth $25 a month for 12 months to me, especially since we don't have any money for it. So, but I think
Sounds like the board's in support of it.
Yeah. Okay, so I can move forward and keep you updated.
That'd be great.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay, we have come to the point in the meeting that we open it up to public comment. The board will extend 3 minutes to anybody who would like to address the board. Anybody interested? Why don't you come right up to this microphone here? We can't hear you, and nobody at home can hear you. So I'd ask that you come right up to the chair and speak directly into the microphone, whoever wants to address the board. Hi, could you give your name and address for the record, please?
Hold on, I just,
Within 6 inches of the mic would be great.
how's that?
That sounds good.
Good evening, gentlemen and lady. I am Heather Tobin. I live at 16 10th Street in Kingston. I know I'm not on the agenda, but this is regarding the tree cutting, the logger that I know was addressed by John a few weeks ago in agenda here at the meeting. I went away for the month of February. I came home and all of the woods were gone. It looks like a war zone, bomb hit.
Trees on your property?
Not on my property, across the street. And what I found out, and Chief Briggs was terrific. I went down to, I believe it was last Wednesday, Chief Briggs, yeah. And I went to look at the tax maps to see what was town land and what was private. I have no problem with anyone cutting down trees on their private land, my goodness, no, especially if they're endangering people, and there were, that was the fact. But I wanted to see how much of this land that had been completely just cleared of trees was town land. Well, it was a fair more amount than I even knew. Looking at 2 lots completely cleared, which were unauthorized, which was done illegally.
Well, who told you they were unauthorized?
I believe, did we? Or Chief Briggs, did we?
Well, we talked about them cutting our property, the town property.
Right, and then we
They weren't authorized to do that.
That's exactly, that's exactly, I spoke to Chief Briggs about that, that this logger was not authorized to do that. And so the question now is that we're left here now with, it has changed the integrity of the neighborhood. You know, it's a big concern, and the irony too is that this logger, who wasn't very honest, and that's being extremely nice, he had left some of the trees that actually should have come down. In fact, Chief Briggs and I talked about that as well, that the permission that he had was for the trees that were rotted out, which, you know, there are a good many of the pine. He took the hardwoods, which are town property, and now we're left with stumps and stumps. I mean, it just looks, it's so tragic and it's so sad, and the question is, what can be done? And, you know, now I know after the fact, can't replace the tree, I'm not sure, but I know I only have a minute left, but I just wanted to say it's a massive concern because it's just affected all of us in the neighborhood, and this guy got away with it, and we're heartbroken, and I just wanted to bring it to your attention, and I want to thank you for listening.
Okay. Well, let's see if maybe we can get an update from Chief Briggs. I know he's been dealing with that. We've been in touch with the state forester. And I know Rich has been out there on a few occasions and spoken to the individual, as well as Phil has been out there and spoken to the individual. So maybe, Don, you could give us an update?
Sure, so I have a meeting, this is coming Thursday at 10 a.m. at the station with the gentleman. My concern, in fact, I was up there this afternoon, and he's left quite a mess across from me.
Yes.
So we're going to address that.
Okay.
You talked to him, we actually had a meeting on site, Rich and I did, a couple of weeks ago, where he was told we needed to clean up any of the mess, because he assured us that it was cleaned up.
Yeah.
And it is not, so I called the forester, he's coming to meet at 10 a.m. on Thursday, and there is certain action that he can take. I believe he told Rich and I that he met with him as well, and told him he wanted that cleaned up, and it is not, so.
Right.
I think he gave him 30 days to take care of it.
He did, yeah.
Has that 30 days expired?
He was in jail for part of it,
I-
so, but yes.
He added the 2 weeks, is what he said, he's adding the 2 weeks, it was delayed.
So he's been good, the gentleman's come down, he's talked to Rich a couple of times, he's spoken to me a couple of times, and he's willing to do whatever is necessary to work with us and help us out in this issue.
Thank
Okay,
you so
where does it
much.
stand right now? Is the logger gone?
So, as of, the day after that you and I spoke, that evening, morning hours, he
He's
left
gone.
with his computer and has not returned. I spoke to the gentleman down the street from you and said that he's gone from,
Okay.
so he is out of it.
Thank you so much. Thank you for last week. I really appreciate it. Just wanted to bring it attention.
Okay, did he do, the last we heard, I think he supposedly was out there burning?
He did have a couple of burns. I believe fire had been down early in the morning, it was unattended at that time, is that correct, Rick? That's correct. Still a mess. So it's a mess in there, and that's what the ranger will take a look at to see how he wants to proceed.
Speaking, just a clarification, I know that he went in and he did a number of cutting. I think you went down and looked at it. I think maybe Phil
Yeah,
went
I
down
can
with
speak to
you.
that. So, he had already been working on other people's property, and he had cut some trees on town property without permission. We went down and met with him, and we gave him permission to take out more trees, because frankly, the town doesn't want to be in the business of buying people's new houses, because trees come down on their house. So if someone's there doing it for free, we were all for it. At that time, we told him not to touch any of the hardwoods. Rich explained to him just the pines. Obviously, you see what else came down there. But it was not a calculated thing where the town was trying to cut down every tree or anything like that, but we are in charge of maintaining that property because we own it. And so, I know people have been talking about having a hearing and things like that. It's just, you know, we painted a room in the fire station, we changed an air cleaner in here. We don't have a hearing every time we maintain a piece of property we own. That got a little out of control with him, and it's still a pending legal action. I mean, so without getting into super details on it, it's not a settled issue with that man at all. And you know, hopefully there is a final resolution on that, but the intent that Rich and I both had when we were down there is to try to minimize the cost of the town to take down trees that were a danger,
Of course.
and to just clean up the mess that was already there.
Thank you.
So that was our intent with that.
Thank
I
you
think
very
what Phil's, some of it, what he's referring to, trees that were in danger, they may not necessarily have been rotten, but
Okay.
because he had already cut so many trees, the pine trees, if they're standing by themselves and they're
Yes.
exposed, I think that's probably what they're saying. Hey, look, since you took all those other ones, you're gonna have to take those too, because they're not gonna survive.
Right, that's what
They'll
our concern
come
has
down.
been. No, thank you very much for the work you're doing to fix this, or to help. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you
Okay,
very much.
thank-
And that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice evening.
Anybody else under the public comment section? Hearing nothing? Okay. Fee schedule for town property?
Cindy and I made a few changes on that. So I didn't know. No, you and I made a few things on the Tuesday. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, everything that we talked about should be on this.
Yeah. Yeah. I can read it to you if you want, that's all there.
Don, was there something you had spoke about adding?
I think that Phil's gonna do us, spell it out with that.
The only question I had, so I thought on planes, we were gonna do so much a day, then so much for every day after that.
It's written right there. All rates given are for 1 day. Additional days may require an additional fee. The second bullet point.
But I guess our rationale on leaving it like that was,
We can do whatever.
we don't want a music festival that's gonna go 2 weeks out there. You know, at the end of the day, it's the discretion of the select board to,
Yeah.
you know, and fire, highway, police to just figure out. It's just to give people an idea, if they wanna have a 1 day event on the plains. I mean, obviously, this isn't a cure-all to every specific situation, but at least gives
Do you think, well, we could certainly adopt it the way it is. Does the board think it'd be worthwhile? Maybe it doesn't need to be called out on here, but letting people know that there may be additional costs for fire details
Right, yeah.
or police details.
Additional
Did I
fees
miss
for
it?
emergency services or custodial services may be required depending on the event.
Okay,
Fourth bullet point down.
all right, I saw the custodial up here.
Is there anything in here for, fees for using our electricity?
That's a good
I think
point,
that
actually.
probably isn't covered under the,
No, that actually came up in the vintage bazaar, and I forgot about that, is Tom had to go down there and make sure that everybody was wired in correctly, and,
But they used our power too, right?
yeah, that is,
But I think if you were charging someone, they're there for a day, they're not gonna use $2,500 worth of electricity, I would
Well,
guess.
it depends, we've had some pretty big equipment out there, smoke machine and all that kind of stuff, it's a pretty big machine.
at a minimum, I think we should have an inspection fee for the electrical inspector.
Yeah, inspection and hookup fee. Whoever's gonna do this could be responsible for applying for a permit from the electrical inspector, and he's gonna determine the cost. If it's, hook up a few lights or just a regular inspection, that's one thing, but
Maybe just take custodial fee and put / inspector.
Well, that's, to be determined, we're working on that piece.
or maybe we could add it down below that,
Yeah, because obviously that's only gonna apply to.
if electricity and water is required for the event, there may be additional inspection fees.
We don't get one.
We have non-potable water, right?
I would not be giving that water for non-potable or anything.
Okay.
Short of maybe rinsing the car down or,
So we get it, that's nice.
So do you think it's worth adding that to, about the electrical inspection?
Yeah, I think as a bullet point on there, I guess my question to Rich would be, I mean,
even if
the bill on that, right?
we do pay the bill for the electric, if they use our power, they definitely need to have an electric. If they do use any power, if they have their own generator, we should have the electrical inspector go down there and make sure that their generator is the code. We don't want someone to get electrocuted on our property for a faulty electrical connection. So if the Boy Scouts want to go down there and have a some sort of function and they're cooking food and whatever, and they have a couple of little Honda generators, we still need to have that inspected to make sure that the ground faults are in and someone doesn't get electrocuted. So definitely need to have that in there.
maybe just expand that where it says, additional fees for emergency services or custodial service may be required depending on the event, and add electricity and inspection. Because I can't imagine depending on what you're doing, yeah, if they're running a laser light show on it, yeah, it's gonna use up some electricity, but if they're just plugging in to run it's not gonna be that much.
Do we need to do, I mean, I'm sure, I don't know if you want to incorporate it on here, but the insurance requirement? Do we want to just handle that separately, or?
Well,
I mean, I just think that this might be a good thing to be able to give out to people and say, if you want to use town property, here's the potential fees you're looking at.
Must have a binder. Holding the town.
so let's say we were gonna rent out the town hall auditorium, I understand on plans, we do require additional insurance from all the vendors there, but say a contra dance here at the town hall, do we require a certificate of insurance for them?
I don't believe we do. I don't think we've ever got insurance from something like that.
They don't serve any alcohol, right?
No. But I do think this is probably a good place to put that, so we can add that in there,
Just so people know that there could be an insurance requirement.
right, and I mean, when the vintage bazaar came in, we had her put us as additionally insured on her policy as well, so, yeah, I mean, this.
Okay, maybe we just add that as a bullet on it too.
Yep.
I said last time we looked at this, that I thought there ought to be a sentence on there that we reserve the right to alter.
I think it says final approval for all events resides with the board, select board. Is that what you mean? Or?
Yeah, I guess that's right. I was looking more that fees could be altered, so the final approval and cost.
How often? I don't think.
Final approval and cost.
I mean, the one that I base this on for Exeter had like 3 revisions in the past 2 years, so it's gonna be a living document that needs to be, it's just, this has probably come up 6 times since I've been on the board, and I think it's just something that at least can provide information to people so they can make a decision if they wanna use our facilities or not. And then if we get into the case-by-case thing, we adjust the list.
Yeah, and I think the final approval probably would address any of those outside the norm situations. Somebody want to make a motion to adopt this as altered, as amended? Second. Any other discussion?
I would just like to thank Phil to take an initiative on this and bring it forward.
Thank you, Phil. All those in favor of adopting the new Town of Kingston fee schedule for facilities and event uses, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions.
Effective immediately.
Effective immediately.
So, yeah, we can talk about it.
Okay. Deferred compensation plan, what's that?
That's the,
Did anyone have a chance to look at it? Because what I will offer is, if we want it, maybe come in and at least talk to us and let us know what it's about. It's not a, it's not a shell game thing.
Was this the union thing?
I would say union thing, it is a deferred compensation plan.
For other workers.
I think it's maybe in the agreement.
It's a deferred compensation plan for anyone and everyone that wants to join it.
Who would be coming in to speak to us, the state or?
Maybe.
Board chair of the deferred compensation.
Professional firefighters, police officers, public employees, tax deferred retirement plan.
Correct. So the person that runs it, the president would come in.
That was on my list tonight.
This is the one we got the opinion from council.
We do offer a deferred comp plan, but it's not the same one this one person is involved in.
Well, comp plan. I mean, the idea is supposed to be to, if you want to make,
Voluntary contributions.
which we currently have now, right?
We have one that we offer, I think there's a couple of that somewhere.
Okay, why are we changing?
We're not. What happened is a new employee of the town is already in this and they can't have payroll deduction unless we have an agreement. The difference with this one than any other one is the fee is the cheapest than the one we offer. And it is run by a board that they have a history of making more money than any other 457 because of their prudent investments.
So this has to be someone who's in the retirement system?
Nope. You don't have to, this is completely separate from the retirement system.
So if you want to set aside
$1 or 1% of your pay, you can do that.
and what, they invest it for you?
Yep, and you end up going onto an online web portal and you can decide where your money goes. You can have no risk, moderate risk.
Okay, and as opposed to what we have now, is if you wanted to, we do, electronic, if somebody wants to, like, have an account in a bank,
Yeah.
a number of accounts, they can put like $5 or $10 into each one of those accounts. That's what we do now, there's no charge to that, right?
Correct. There would be no charge for this.
No, but when you say this is the lowest cost,
Oh, no, there is a charge for it, yes, because there's probably like a $50 fee for the one you have.
Yeah,
There is a fee, a $50 fee, maybe a year or whatever, yearly, there is a fee. Absolutely, there is a fee. No one takes your money and plays with it and doesn't charge it.
But is it just on the individuals who participate?
Correct.
Or is it with the town?
Has nothing
It's
to
on
do-
their investment, I mean, we don't charge a fee to do it, right?
No,
No,
the town
it's
does.
just, I think the only way we get involved is maybe taking out a paycheck, right?
Correct. But
Like, I don't
the only way Cindy can take money out of the pay to pay towards this, and there's no cost, so that she can, no different than if the IRS comes in and garnishes someone's wages, we have to pay it, but
we
there
have
has to be an
adopt it.
agreement with the organization for them, for Cindy to be able to deposit directly to them.
That's right now, there's only one person
Correct.
that wants to do it.
Well, hasn't been offered, the employees haven't had a chance to look at it or whatever, but we could have the person come in and talk if you want, but, we could delay another week so you can.
I mean, I did talk to Cindy about this briefly, and I guess my main concern was if there was a administrative fee that's applied to the town, if it's only on the participants in the plan, and it is of no cost to the town to offer it, I think it's a good benefit for the employees at no cost to us.
What do you think of the opinion of council?
How much time you got?
He alluded to it being a strong-arm tactic of Teamsters, and, it's not. It's just an opportunity for the employees if they want to use it. They don't have to. It don't go to pay some guy's Cadillac driving around.
So
Yeah.
does Exeter, so Steve's from where, Exeter?
Correct.
He's from Exeter.
Actually, it's from Northampton.
So does Exeter have a plan like this?
Yeah.
And how's it work? Does the town participate in the plan?
The town does nothing, no.
Well,
It's
they
strictly
transfer
voluntary on the employee. But yes, we do. The town offers 2 plans. The town offers this one and the state deferred 457 plan, which this town don't even offer. I don't know how this person, the one that we got in is someone came in and made an arrangement with Cindy and now we do it,
Did that whole one.
Yeah. It's not a state
What
plan.
it is, it's offered, but nobody's interested.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I don't know.
Maybe because the fees are too high. I don't know.
Sounds like what? A union thing? I think that was the opinion of the council.
Yeah, that was the opinion of the council, which
And as
is,
soon as you see professional firefighters, it's certainly, it certainly appears to be that.
well, first of all, you have to have 10 people to belong to a union anyways, we're nowhere near 10. And in case you were wondering, if you need those account.
I guess this hasn't come up in the past, the other programs seem to have been working fine. It's just recently that, on a new hire, that now they're requesting this, right?
They're not requesting it. The employee just
That's
can't,
what I'm
they
saying.
can't do it, that employee now has to take a check every week and send to them. Okay, the employee was just asking if the town would adopt it, so I asked, I said, how do you come about adopting it? He said, it's simple, you just gotta do. The only concern Cindy had, they do everything. The biggest issue that Cindy had is the town has to set up a plan if someone wants to borrow from it. Okay, but there's cookie cutter language you could do, but if that's the only thing it says, is the town has to have a plan if someone wants to borrow from
Why do we have to adopt it just for him to put money in it?
Because it's tax deferred.
Well, he
that's why.
can send them the
it.
money
He could
now,
send the
right?
money, this would automatically go to it.
But if he
People
sends it, it's
automatically
already
put it in
tax.
savings accounts, why can't we automatically put it into his account?
You can automatically put it into his account, but then he has to go every pay period and pay them.
No, I mean his account with that company.
You can't do that. You have to have an agreement for Cindy to be able to deposit into it. That's what it is.
But this is tax deferred, yes?
Correct.
So that defeats the purpose if it's not.
Correct.
You're already taking the tax out, and you have to send a check in. And
Yep, that's right. This allows it to be taken out pre-tax.
How's the board want to proceed? Are you interested in that?
I think you went,
You interested in that?
That's fine.
I just think the more benefits that don't cost us anything that we can offer to people.
Well, you typically don't get a contract like that doesn't end up costing you something.
Well, that's what I want.
I mean,
Just let him come in.
you don't enter a
Did you read
contract
it?
like that to.
Did you read it? It just says that, read it, it's pretty basic.
I can understand why they would need an agreement with the town, because they're accessing our payroll, or it's part of our payroll. So that's why they need to have a town-by-town agreement, because we're the employer. That makes sense to me. I just wanna make sure that's actually the case, so I think if the person come in and speak to it, that's great. We'll do that.
I guess my feeling on it would be if town council thinks that is an instrument utilized to promote union activity, then I probably wouldn't be in favor of that. Okay, so does the majority of the board want somebody to come in and talk about? Yeah.
Can you take something out of order?
You got them on speed dial, don't you? What's that, Susan?
I think these people are here for the facilities use for the food drive. If you want to take that out of order, it's down in correspondence.
For the what?
Scout.
Food drive down
Food
here.
drive. Sure, come on up.
There are just a couple of concerns.
Is that application in here?
It should be in this, in the, signature file. Orange folder.
Facility use.
The only question that we had about it was, because it's the same day as, it's the same day as country dance that night, we wanted to make sure that the food would be pushed aside or whatever, that it's still be in place in the hall. She's gonna work with Ellen as to where they'll put it, so, she's just here to make sure that.
March 28th?
Yep.
What time is the country dance?
Until 7 p.m. or something.
And this is between 9 a.m. and 12 p.m.?
Yep.
You don't have, I see you don't have any issues with it, Rich?
It's done in years now.
What's that?
It's happened for years now.
Okay, and Ellen was in support of it?
She's on vacation right now, so she's
Okay.
not aware, but, we just.
What, it's a food drive?
Yeah,
Okay, and you're Susan, right?
I am.
And so, what happens? Everybody brings it here, or the scouts go around and pick it up and then bring it here?
Exactly. Yep.
Then what happens to it?
We sort it into categories, make sure there's nothing expired, and then in past years, we've left it on tables for Ellen to then.
Okay, so Ellen distributes it?
Exactly.
So the town food pantry is the direct beneficiary?
Yes.
Why would we say that? Well, I would like to make a motion to accept the application and waive the town hall auditorium fee, as it is a direct.
That must be the one you were talking about.
Right. Hey, if we just adopted it as of tonight, might as well get it used to it. I'll second that.
Okay, any other discussion on, granting the application for the facility use and waiving the fee, since it's a direct benefit to the town of Kingston food pantry? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstentions?
Thank you very much.
Okay. Site plan issues. see a letter here.
Letters here that was put together this morning. The activity that he was doing last week kind of changed the way we wrote the letter. He gave us a lead in.
Has everybody got a copy of it? Come through.
I went around and around about a couple things that I wanted to say in the letter, but decided that I should not be overly threatening, you know, like just say stuff like any future events or whatever.
Don, do you want to sign it?
Huh?
Don, do you want to sign it? Yes.
So the bottom of this page addresses that. It says in order to address these matters, activities and events. That's what come in.
Okay, is that, everybody had a chance to read the letter? Questions? Seem to cover what we want to say?
And Glenn Greenwood has said he will be at the meeting when he comes in here.
Is everybody in favor of issuing this letter?
Yeah.
Ron?
Yes.
Rich? Kevin?
Yep.
Okay, under new business, there was a question from the town clerk on posting election results. She spoke to you about it, Susan?
Yeah, basically, I'm just informing you, I don't know why there'd be any objection. She was trying to find a way to get it on the website that evening, and I told her she can email it to me and I can put it on the website.
So you're gonna post it on
That
Tuesday evening after you receive the results? Okay, does anybody have any objection to that?
No, actually, I'd like to see us do this all the time, with any election.
Well, I think it probably will be.
Usually the next day.
Yeah, I would say Tuesday
What's
night,
that?
Wednesday
Usually the
morning.
next morning, but that's just because I'm the one that puts it on and I'm not there that night, so,
And you're willing to do it?
yeah.
Okay.
Email it to me, I can get it on there.
As long as
Maybe pretty late.
utilizing the website as a main form of communication, I'm all.
Maybe a
Well,
late night.
I did speak to her about
Trying to
that,
beat
how we don't
Facebook.
want it on.
Maybe late.
Well, if people want it on there, they can repost it.
Right, no, but I mean,
Whatever.
us not putting it on there.
Say it again?
I think Tammy is saying basically she'd rather see it on an official place rather than showing up at Facebook before we post it.
Yeah.
So that's the idea.
I mean, as much as the road agent loves Facebook.
So nobody has any objections? Committee liaison reports?
I told conservation that they would have a new representative next meeting.
You might be nominated again, what do you mean?
No, I've already got a volunteer to take my place.
Look at that, there you go.
Other than that much planning board has got a lot of new plans.
Phil?
We met on Thursday, but
Is this pertaining to the inspectors meeting?
yes.
Okay.
Dave wasn't able to make it, and seeing as he's a plumbing inspector, and he's 50% of the equation that we had to work on. Just kind of covered some outstanding violations and talked through a couple other issues that come up, but nothing pressing.
Right, how about planning board?
That's what this said. I'm planning board now.
When, since when?
Last Tuesday.
Oh,
It was kind of,
okay.
a lot of things were ending and a bunch of things were just starting
Everything
up, so it was a
started.
good time to hand it off to
It's a
someone.
nice 10:40 night.
I haven't heard anything from the budget committee. I know they're gonna meet again in April, but we'll have to coordinate a little better because the meetings were set last year by the outgoing chair and, you know, kind of tentative, but it really wasn't, and it kind of caused a problem with the town clerk getting the absentee ballots out and that stuff, so we won't have
Should
that.
be a little early.
Yeah, it'll be a little earlier next time.
How many open positions are there on the, is it just one left?
I think
what,
it-
budget?
Budget, it's fully open, actually.
There's a bunch of them, isn't
Yeah, I think,
There's not that many.
there? You mean, is there one person left, or one?
No, I think
position
of all the people who are running, if everybody shows up after they're
Yeah.
elected tomorrow,
it
there's
might be
There's
two.
two
one
left.
or two.
One or two, no more than two, if at all.
This might be a good time for public service announcement.
There you go.
Join the budget committee.
Maybe they wanna start in a writing campaign.
And, the moderator won't be happy with that, let's just, we'll worry about that as, after the organizational meeting in April, we'll see what they have for openings, and then what else we allow.
Okay.
But yes, I would say everyone in general should look at different positions in town, it's always good to get involved in town.
I believe there is an opening on the trustees of the trust fund. One opening there. And what was the other one? So, what was the trust?
Alright. Public comment? Anybody wish to address the board on public comment? Hearing none. The American Assisted Living Performance Bond. Dawn, you were gonna check with somebody on that, weren't you?
I have a meeting with them on Friday the 13th at 9 a.m. Have them correct the rest of the problem.
I asked at the inspector's meeting, Dawn, nobody else had any outstanding issues, so here's the,
Glenn copied me as a letter here.
Email from Glenn here about, signs.
The feather signs,
well, there's that, there's some temporary signs, and then there are two fixed signs in front of those. So there's the one coming soon is still up there, and then there are
I have some of those big flag
Do you want me to-
banners that they were.
the feather bed.
You want me to address that Friday morning?
That would be outstanding.
I would be.
So if you give me a list of what needs to be addressed,
It's in Glenn's letter. I think it says.
You wanna read it for the record?
looks like sign violation.
This note is intended for the selectman and building inspector as it pertains to a worsening sign violation in the historic district. Thank you for ensuring that it gets to them where hopefully it will be addressed. The All-American Assisted Living, AAAL site on Main Street is a great facility and a wonderful asset to Kingston and the surrounding area. However, they have been increasingly adding to their signage along the property frontage during the last several months. One sign has been permitted and constructed per town ordinance, section 3033. B does allow temporary signs under certain conditions and for no more than 30 days. Some of the temporary signs at AAAL have far exceeded the 30-day limit. Has it been more than 30 days? Okay. Also, numerous feather banners, signs have appeared in recent months and weeks. These are specifically prohibited per section 3033. No part may consist of banner, pennants, ribbons, streamers, spinners, or other similar devices. I noticed that the performance bond for AAAL is to be discussed at the Selectmen's meeting next Monday. Perhaps the sign issue could be addressed at that time. I would hope that any release of the bond monies would be held until the site is in full compliance, including its signage. Thank you, Susan. Have a good weekend. When you meet with them on the bond issue, you're gonna address the signage?
I will.
Thank you. Okay. We got a retail dealer license. has been reviewed by the planning board.
That's one I brought. This
For
is,
approved site plan is,
this is for little old lady, that lot.
Rockingham, whatever, right at the line.
Jack's Tobin has been evicted for court order.
So are you guys met with them last week, right?
Yeah, there's two parties.
RG Realty Trust, Robert Colell. Can motor vehicles be displayed and or stored? Yes. Is signage permitted? Yes. Are there any signage restrictions per approved site plan in town sign ordinances? Approve the appointment if otherwise qualified. Okay. Is the board in favor of, based on the feedback from the planning board? Typically they sign it, I don't see where anybody did.
Just a point of information on that.
It's you that signs it.
Oh, but usually they'll sign off on it.
Well, I was there and he gave her a bit.
So there's been two parties evicted from there, and so the owner has requested that we remove cars from the property, and it's a civil issue, so we're not gonna remove cars, but there's an issue with cars being in the states right away, so I notified Division 6. They sent down an engineer, still waiting to hear from that individual as to what they choose to do. So I don't know that the site currently meets the site plan approval standard, based upon where everything is parked.
He was told that he had to meet the site plan, he was fully aware of the site plan, and was gonna pick up a copy of it if he couldn't find one.
I'm not so sure that it does.
I think the only, so, the towing operation was going through the occupancy permit process. Right. And I think other than the stuff out in the parking lot, everything's good in the building itself, or grandfatheration. Mostly grandfather, but, I mean, how does that work if,
Well, so I don't have a right to go tow a car on someone's property. If it's an abandoned vehicle, there's a statute for that. But that's an abandoned vehicle. These are vehicles that were brought, purchased, whatever, put on site, and for that purpose of the business. Then you have cars, vehicles, trucks that are parked in the states right away. So that's a violation itself. So I think what he hoped we were gonna just go in and start pulling stuff, but I can't believe we do that. That makes it sound like.
irony is that,
He basically had a court order that said the guy has to get everything off the property, and like this is not doing it as fast as he wants it done. So
Yeah.
he tried to get some help.
Well, he's gonna go back to the court
But
and get,
it's back a cheap way out, right? That's gonna be-
Okay, how's the board wanna proceed on this?
well, I don't think it meets, I don't know that it meets the site plan as it should. Not sure that it does. So somebody will need to take a look at the site plan to make sure it's in compliance.
so, I guess I'll play devil's advocate here. He still has to get an occupancy permit because it's a new business in a site plan. Site plan is approved, but it's a new business going in there, no previous business in there. So, because this is the retail dealer license is through the state, we can still hold up the certificate of occupancy until he is in compliance with the parking lot issues. But I'm just,
We can, but we lose a lot of leverage.
Well, here's the problem with that. I mean, I got this thing from the planning board, it says, complies with local ordinances or requirements, or has a variance to operate. If the answer is no, no should be checked, not yes.
See, Clinton,
And that's why usually there's a signature saying that the chairman of the planning board is stating that it is in compliance.
Is that what that says?
The applicant whose name appears in the above section complies with local ordinances or requirements or has a variance to operate. Yes or no? Yes is checked.
It is designed by someone.
Quinn handed it to me.
Well, that's why I said there's no signature on this, which typically there is.
So I would send it back to them.
Is that how we want to proceed?
Where's the chance for him to sign?
Usually up here, they'll just sign off
Okay,
underneath their section, saying to us,
Yeah.
you know, because it used to be, and the reason we instituted that was because we'd get those forms and they'd be saying, well, how come you signed off on that? They're not in compliance.
Yeah.
Well, I said, well, I got a form here that says they are in compliance. Well, nobody signed it.
Or give it to me and I'll get it to the side. I'll get
Good policy, I like that
I'll get Glenn to sign it, or I'll tell him what Chief Briggs said and see if he wants to put off sign.
You may welcome change.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve both the public and non-public minutes of March 2nd, 2020. Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? We already addressed the, I think we signed off on the abatement, right? We do have, I believe, John, Karen, and Brad will be working the polls. This is their oath of office. Does anybody have any objection to signing off on these appointments? To work the polls tomorrow? Okay. So. Can we get these to,
She said to leave them by her window tonight.
what's that?
Tammy said to leave them on her window, and she'll pick them up in the morning.
I guess they're blank though.
The name type of.
Oh, I see it, okay, all right, I got it. Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna hold off on assisted living.
That's the plan that you offer now.
Susan, did you already get the executed, abatement request?
When she comes in to see you, let me know.
Who's that?
What?
Yeah, I saw that.
There's 3 communities.
Okay. Also.
This was on the Vintage Bazaar?
Yeah, she did get back to us and said she would come in later this week to bring her applications, I believe, for her sent to her, we want our payment up.
There you go.
So
I didn't see that.
Kingston, Plastow, and Kingston.
Kingston, Plastow, East
East Kingston.
Did, so these letters are going out by, Stantec?
Yes, he gave me an example of 4 different letters. He just wanted you to look at them. He's shown them to Chip Rossetti, apparently. I just got them this afternoon, I haven't read them carefully, but there's only one that's over both levels of.
And that's our property, right?
Right. The others are either over one but not over the other, or they're not in exceedance at all, so that's why there's all these different letters. So that's one example of each letter that will be going out. I haven't sent them yet, so if you're okay with them, I'll let them know.
Did everybody get a copy? Yep. Did anybody have any, questions or concerns about the letters?
Do we want to send that to Sumner for review?
Well, I think we probably just send it to percent.
Yeah, I think that's why we have.
And percent he was okay with it, right?
Apparently, I mean, he mentioned, you know, that he and Chip had talked about it, and they just know it's sensitive, so you want to make sure that you're on board.
Did anybody else have any concerns?
No.
Okay.
They have one small legal matter.
Okay, I think that takes care of our scheduled stuff. You want to go into
Non-public,
public
these.
to do performance employee evaluations? And you had one non-public? One. Do you have anything else? Rich? No. Kevin? No. Phil? That'll conclude the televised public portion of our meeting. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.